is this some inside?
That's what we like. I got some fucking hair in my mouth.
So it's
Shaz's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fuck?
We're getting so close.
We're not that close, bro. Not yet. We're close now. Mm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I grew up in a small city called Holstebro in West Jutland, so it's like a small country town. And I lived there with my parents for, until I was 18. My parents were divorced, so I swabbled between my mom and dad. And after I traveled for, after high school, I went out traveling for 3 months. I came back and I moved to the second biggest city in Denmark, and that's when I started playing CS. Remember, we had our first PC back home, and we had I think it was called the Condition Zero part of the game back then, and I played it with my cousin and had some friends over, and we played against each other, and it was just back then I already had the competitive mindset, I think. And then I was off Counter-Strike. I didn't play it for 8 years or so, and my whole high school time I didn't really think of CS. I played League of Legends just for the fun of it with some friends, but besides that I didn't have anything to do with esports.
Gade is babe.
Is it babe? Gade is gay. What?
Is Gade single? I'd like to marry his handsome ass.
Wait, that is pretty gay.
Stay in the fucking law. Gade.
So what are we doing?
Go Gade. Gade. What did you do?
So with Gade, everyone's seen it already. His mechanics are insane. He's got super crisp aim. He's more of a entry support, I'd say. Him and I kind of buy the nades and throw them for people, or sometimes he's even really great at taking initiative on just going in with Christian config on the entry sometimes. So with him, I expect the same as Shaz, just hitting those crisp shots and just keeping up the comms and the teamwork, which has been great so far. Summer 2016, I had the opportunity to play with a team called Singularity, which was my first professional team. I actually had a salary, and I could it was an addition to my in Denmark we get paid to study, so that was a pretty cool addition to that. And I played there for half a year. And then I had no team for 2 months. I didn't really know what was going on. And I was in my study at this point. I studied for building engineering, and I was 8 months in the third semester. And I think that was in April last year when Jacob, the Milk, he contacted me and asked if I wanted to join North Academy.
Position of one of the team players, but the rest. Ready Gade trading back 3. He's having a massive game at the moment. This may not be a round that they should be losing anyway, but still needed saving, and a hero arises in the form of Gade.
Chet and I talked back and forth. This was very new to Chet, so he had to, we looked at the player stats, we looked at him historically. Chet was skeptical, and then we slept on it overnight. I was still being adamant. I knew Nick had the best possible attitude of any professional player I'd seen in the entire Counter-Strike space, maybe bar Mixwell. That's the level of character we're dealing with. And so he watched a lot of demos overnight, came back to me and said, let's do this. I believe in this player. He's really, really good. And we both, I think, we said to each other at the same time, he has a nutty aim, and that's really stuck. Gade has this nutty aim, and he does, he snaps on the enemy, and it's instant.
To be approached by Jacob in the beginning of February was a turning point for me, because I didn't really know if I wanted to get back to North Academy or I should find a new team. And then this opportunity came up, and that was out of the blue type of thing. And now we're sitting here in Frisco, and I'm enjoying my new teammates, and we're showing good results, and practice is going well. So OpTic definitely, for me, it was an opportunity I had to seize.
Super excited to see a player that's given the chance, given the opportunity to play on the highest level, now come out and prove himself. We've only played 3 EPL games thus far, but he's just been performing tremendously well in all of them, top fragging in a lot of them, having high ADR and everything. And really, it's not just his aim, it's also his decision making. So it's great to see that us giving new players a chance to prove themselves and integrating them in an experienced lineup can really bring out the best in them and help create the stars of tomorrow. And that's really what I also felt that the old OpTic was all about in how they, for instance, molded Mixwell into becoming the star player that he is today.
Well, PTR next point of contact down here towards Ivy. He falls as well. And now it is just Def and Android left. Split thinly between either one of these bomb sites. Bomb's going to get spotted, does drop down, but Gade finishes him. It's all onto Android, 1v5. And this would be a clutch for the history books. He does manage to get one. But kind of feel like his journey might end here. He's going to keep pushing forward. Stan takes the fight. Okay, Android, he's not out of this one just yet.
He's out of it. He just doesn't realize it quite yet. Bomb towards the inner site. There's really no chance. He's got to, even if he gets all those kills outside, you can see the third player just straight up back off. There's nothing he could really do here. It is going to be Gade with a long angle, an off angle. So if Android tries to go down this lower ramp, he's not going to clear this corner. And it should be a pretty free kill, and it is.
Nice.
We only had one bad match, and that was the complexity game 16-14 on train was not satisfying for me because I didn't feel like they played well. I think like we got caught off guard and we lost way too many rounds by our own mistakes. It wasn't them playing real well. So in the Cloud9 game, I think we should just work off that Mirage game and what we actually did well.
OpTic are going to be hard pressed for more. It's Skadoodle spotted out config, and now he's going to reposition, looks to try and do even more damage. Stan gets taken off the defuse, time's ticked down low. Skadoodle is going to fall, it's all onto Tarek. He has to deny the defuse, Shazam's fallen, and Tarek, he's got it done at Cloud9. They are to be winning out this map, 16.
During our map on training against Cloud9, I think we should have used like a tactical pause more, just to like take a deep breath, talk what's wrong, why are we not getting the rounds we're supposed to win? Because I think it came down to us just being picked off guard by stupid pushes, and that should not be happening because we're just supposed to be calm in those situations, and we actually lost like NC4 spies, which should be the easy rounds, you can say, but sometimes the player just hits some good shots and you can lose a round by that.
I'm thinking about fuck.
Let's do game it, boys. Fuck. Still worked.
Yeah.
We won the
Still
round.
won, yeah.
They're waiting for their anti-stratting and they're like, where's the smoke?
When they heard it pop.
I think we need to talk about maps which we have to buy in second rounds on CT.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to just save for utility.
I think we have to because
for utility.
Yeah, because this time it fucked us over.
We can't take any control.
Yeah, I think train is a good.
We just had to sit passive. We had no need to take lateral.
Yeah, we couldn't do shit. Like they just made execute, and I was like, yeah, we guys just gonna fight.
I fucked up that one round. They executed.
Yeah.
I just kept getting blind. I smoked.
As a team, we didn't really go that much over like strats and countering them. We just kind of played our own game. We know that we have a lot of hard hitters on the team, and we have a few tactics on each map, so it more came down to like if we hit our shots and if we like rotated well on the maps. But the train game, we just had automatic. He went totally off, and we didn't really get the economy going that well on that map. And then we came to Mirage and we just stomped him on that CT side.
On top of the balcony, Rush gets dinked back, 23 HP. He goes down without a whimper. They haven't cleared it on their balcony yet. They just do it. Cajun B with that one, and there it is. That's the waterfall. That's the snowball effect for this attack from OpTic Gaming, and that should be the end of the game. 15-4. Tarek and Automatic, everything to do, and it's just on Tarek's shoulders with an AWP. So many opponents to find.
That's made that much worse with this wraparound from Shazam. There should be no way for him to get this done. He does put out the first lot of config, but you imagine Shazam now just goes in, slips the knife in the back. He almost lays himself to death, so thank God that didn't happen.
Nice!
Nice. Hey, guys.
Fuck yes.
Let's go.
Damn, we're winning a major. That's crazy.
It's fine.
Fuck bro.
Great.
Woo! It's everywhere.
Fuck.
Now I'm gonna fucking wear the OpTic hoodie. I'm a fucking boss.
Alright, so do we have to raise the fine now?
Yeah, the fines are raised, bro. Woo! Let's go.
Dude, we need to bet fines every
Just stack up fines, and for the important matches, we just say.
If you lose, we should get fined. That's the only way.
Represent OpTic Gaming.
Obviously, you have to put a lot of hours into like the individual skill. But besides that, Rene, he came Thursday, 14 days ago, and we've been practicing really hard since then. I think we had 10 real scrim and practice days like to go over stuff for the 3 maps we're playing this week. So it's right now it's all a learning process. We still have to figure out how we actually want to play and get to know each other and just have fun with the game.
It's only been, like I said before, it's only been about 2 weeks since we've started this whole thing. And I think we've been working as hard as we can. So going into the complexity match and the Cloud9 match this week, and we have a rogue match today, I think expectations are that we should be winning these matches, but also the expectation for everyone, I think, is, you know, we still have a long way to go. It's only been 2 weeks. These things just take time. It's as simple as that. So I think we're actually on par with what I expect from them. I think we're working as hard as we can. We're putting in the time and the hours. I think if we just keep continuing on this path, then we'll get to where we need to be. But for now, beating complexity was something that we knew we could do, and we did the job. The second map was a little bit shaky, but I think we spoke about it afterwards and identified the mistakes. So going forward, hopefully we'll just keep working on that. And the Cloud9 match, you know, like they just won a major, so it was pretty awesome to take a map off of them. But like me personally, and also the others know, like we kind of messed up on the first map that we lost, and it's pretty simple. We're just gonna identify those mistakes and fix them, and just keep doing what we're doing, and just keep working hard.
Fucking bro.
Just gamble straight.
Idiots.
Represent.
We can't.
Bringing back Peter and Shaz was actually not that large of an endeavor for us, right? People can talk about how one person or one player has a disagreement with another player, and everyone seems to blow feuds out of the water, but really bringing them back together was a pretty simple endeavor. It just naturally fit into what we were trying to accomplish. And so to see those two building chemistry again and talking and communicating and overall executing has been quite a fulfilling experience, coming off of having to build a roster up from scratch. And I'm glad Stan is back. I think he is a very intelligent in-game leader. I believe that the way he commands internally, just it creates that chemistry that we were looking for. It allows players to play it allows players to play at their best. And I think he really enables that and brings that out of players, the way he's organized and the way he makes decisions in game. I mean, look at Gade popping off the other day. Awesome to see that. And I was on a plane and I was just watching the Reddit thread ticker update as best I could, because you know airplane Wi-Fi is atrocious, and not even Twitter would load. I don't even know how I got Reddit to load. So I'm just watching what's happening and the play-by-plays and the updates. You see all of our fans on Reddit coming together, and incredible time for us to be watching this and seeing this take place.
Yeah, so as the in-game leader for myself, it's just pretty much making sure my skill is up to par. I like having Chet there because he does all the work that I used to have to do when I was on previous teams, because we didn't have a coach like back on OpTic, when we didn't have a coach that did all the hard work that he does now, like preparing all the strats and setups and stuff. So we've only been working on this for about 2 weeks, but I think Chet and I have been meshing really well. He has a lot of great ideas, and we're kind of like finding the best of both worlds, like between him and I. So before each match, myself, I don't really I just make sure like I'm warmed up, you know, do the routine like deathmatch and all that stuff. And we also try to, between Chet and I, relate to the team like, okay, what's the game plan gonna be? What kind of strats we want to run? And just pretty much talk about the other team and their strengths and weaknesses, and then just go from there.
You can ask, was it necessary for the team to dissolve in full? Could we retain some of the players? Could we have kept the entire lineup, maybe just done one roster change? And there was, several players were up for talks in trying to maintain the roster. I think back in December and throughout early January, Chet and I were discussing how we could run the same lineup, maybe add some European superstars who ultimately ended up in other great teams. But I think we quickly realized that in order for us to really succeed, we wanted this team to be based in and around Frisco in Texas, and that's just hard for you to, in the current Counter-Strike landscape, it's hard for us to find players that are willing to make that commitment, that are willing to chase the American dream. It's not like many other esports titles in which, oh, we got a spot on a North American lineup, we'll go to LA right now, or how it's like in League of Legends or in Overwatch or potentially even Dota 2. So Counter-Strike is a different beast in that regard. So that made creating the right lineup a lot more difficult.
Building this roster was difficult. It was just as difficult as the last time. And I think every single time we're probably gonna say it was just as difficult or more difficult than last time, because you never know how many contracts a player is negotiating, especially if they're a free agent. They could be talking to you about one idea and the momentum is great, the rapport is great, and you get so far and deep into that situation, but they have 3 other contracts that are negotiating. And if they're from EU, they may not want to move to NA. So in hindsight, going from NA to EU, then back to NA with EU players, I mean, think about the cluster that can create, especially if someone in the EU doesn't want to move, and we're not faulting anyone for that. That's a huge life decision to make, whether it's temporary or long-term. So you're battling different scenarios and trying to figure that out. And then on top of that, you also have situations where a player wants to come on board, but their buyout is so incredibly high and it jeopardizes your budget for buying out maybe 2 or 3 other players just to get this one player. So you have to constantly be shaking up and thinking about different roster options. We've got about, I think, when did we say we're gonna do the AMA? Tomorrow?
Yeah, Tuesday, yeah.
Tomorrow's Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay. I don't know. We can basically just say that we have a roster coming, and we'll say we have a roster coming. We'll explain that we're gonna reveal it soon, and in the meantime, pray that they freaking close on those contracts, and if they don't, every extension has been exhausted. So I don't know.
I really think we need to just
so late.
Yeah, we need to own up to everything though. I think transparency is key.
Yeah.
Because I don't, there's no reason not to be. If Oscar goes, he goes.
That'll be so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I'm not even kidding.
Spent a month trying to build around him.
It's freaking freezing. It was sad to see Mixwell go. And while I totally understand where he's coming from, everyone felt it, right? I'm sure Hector felt it the most, that those two have been close for so long. Jacob did everything he could to keep Mixwell. Jacob and I talked about everything we could do to keep Mixwell, and he ultimately had different aspirations, and that's totally fine. There will always be a spot for our buddy Mixwell, whatever capacity he wants to come back in, if that ever were to happen. So Mixwell, if you're watching this, I miss you, and it was nice. Even though we didn't get to spend a lot of time together, it was still nice on the times that we did. And of course, we are undefeated in trivia. We will never lose in trivia. And I'm gonna go back and watch that episode right after this video and reminisce on the times. I remember giving you like a big bear hug because it was the video game sounds one. So we ended up with the victory on that one. I think we either got flawless or we only missed one. But congrats to Mixwell and everything that he's been recently announced. I'm sure he's going to do well in whatever he does. He's just that all-around good-hearted person who, it's just great to have him around no matter what you're doing. So Mix, I miss you, buddy.
So from an objective point of view, I can see that a lot of people might question why I'm sitting here right now, but I feel like I have a lot to prove, and I know that my self-awareness of what I'm capable of is high, and I know that I can achieve more, and I just want to prove myself, and I feel like I'm ready to do that right now with this team.
fast forward a couple of months, we go through the acquisition, and then we bring on someone like Jacob, who is able to really dive deep into the industry. He constructed this roster from scratch, and while we had all the other roster situations, we're trying to renegotiate, save players. We're also saying, well, what does a new roster look like? What does a new roster look like in multiple different options from A to Z? And he pulled through, and it ultimately turned out to be what I think has been an exceptional start, where I think we're onto something really, really good with this roster, both on the competition side, but also on the content side, and seeing them drive to the office every day, chatting with them when they're done with work for the day, watching Shaz drive off in his incredible car. Just everyone's in really good high spirits, and we need to continue that momentum heading into the Pro League and beyond.